Hi guys, how are you? How's going? I hope everything is going well. Today we are going to discuss economics, basic economics, regarding the questions asked in CAPF examinations. So in CAPF we expect 7 to 10 questions, 12 questions maximum. More than that we don't expect economic questions. From that 7 to 12 questions also we expect 7 to 8 questions are basic questions and very easy. If we read thoroughly, revise basic economics, we can able to answer the 7 to 8 questions. More than that, 12 questions are we need to deeply study economic survey and everything. Then only you can able to answer all the 12 questions. So I am here to prepare for the 7 to 10 questions, not for the 12 questions. So let's dive into the basic economics. In basic economics, we study the main topics asked in CAPF examinations are economic planning, employment, and agriculture, banking, industry, services, money and capital markets, national income, public finance, and some miscellaneous and poverty questions, so inflation questions are asked. So let's today's topic. We discuss the microeconomics and macroeconomics. First of all, we know microeconomics. Microeconomics means it is regarding the economics regarding very small things, quantity or individuals like households, consumers in small spectrum. So in the small spectrum, we consider those economics are the microeconomics. It is also called as price theory. In microeconomics, we study individuals, how one individual can spend his expenses, and also household expenses, films expenses, consumer expenses. These are comes under the microeconomics. As the same way, the microeconomics, it will analyze the principles, problems, and resources, everything in a micro level, in a small level, not in the larger perspective, in a small perspective, in a small level, at a particular individual household level. We can analyze these things in microeconomics. At the same time, in microeconomics, companies also, one particular company is there. If we take out the company's expenditure and income tax, profits, losses, everything, these also we consider as the microeconomics regarding the company. So microeconomics have the narrow scope, means particular specific type narrow scope, not in a larger spectrum like country or the world economy, not like that. It can also be explained and easily understood in the demand and supply way at the individual and also business level. And this microeconomics is mainly focused on the development of individual, one particular individual we need to develop. So we need to analyze the microeconomics. So these microeconomics are also used for the welfare of saving more and spending less. For example, as a human beings, the daily expenses we manage is comes under the microeconomics. Next, what is macroeconomics? Macro means it is very simple. Macro means large. Whatever the large, I mean, here we talk about the Indian economy, we talk about the South Asian economy, we talk about the world economy. So when we goes in the large spectrum, we are interlinking so many economics, small economics into large spectrum, making it as a big, we call it as a macroeconomics. So Indian economy, when we talk about an Indian economy, it is called macroeconomy. In macroeconomy, we study various factors like employment factors, productive capacities, expenditures, losses, revenues, everything. We calculate everything in a big scale. So It also deals with different sectors in the economy. Whole sector. It will take not single company. It will take whole IT sector. We can study whole manufacturing sector. So these sectors in a big scale, if we study, these called macroeconomics. In macroeconomics, we always have the goals like expanding national income, like increasing GDP. These kind of goals are macroeconomic goals. And these macroeconomic goals have wider scope, benefiting larger population and also representing the larger area, territory, country and world economy comparison with other countries, everything. We can also here the demand and supply. By the demand and supply also we study macroeconomics, but here the demand and supply will be the aggregate demand and supply in the economy. For example, this demand and supply belongs to whole country, whole world, entire economy. We talk about that. These macroeconomics basically promote the aggregate demand and investments in the economy. When we study economy in a whole India-wise, we talk about sector-wise investments, we talk about sector-wise demands, sector-wise exports, sector-wise imports, everything. So here we talk about the big scale. Next, the word microeconomic. The word microeconomics was coined by the Ragnar Frisch. Ragnar Frisch, one scientist, coined this term micro. Micro and macro both, Ragnar Frisch. Next, we know Adam Smith. We have the Adam Smith, David Ricardo, J.S. Mill, and other classical economists. These are the later economists who developed the economics. So, Adam Smith is the prominent one. He is also called as the father of modern economics. And in the political economy time, he is the main philosopher also. He wrote the book, An Inquiry into the Nature and Cause of the Wealth of Nations. Very important this is, it is published in 1776. It means before the Regulating Act, before the Army Ordnance Corps established. This An Inquiry into the Nature and Cause of the Wealth of Nations book was released by Adam Smith. And later, he also opined one theory. That theory is invisible hand theory. This invisible hand theory is nothing but a laissez-faire theory. It means it implies the free market without any restrictions from the government, without any regulations from the government or any central banks, etc. One exports and imports occurs in the economy in a free will and will, in a free economy. There is an invisible hand which maintains the balance and equilibrium and gives momentum to the economy. This is what the Adam Smith believes, and this is called as invisible hand theory. This, according to his views, it also benefits the own self-interest, and also this laissez-faire, this invisible hand theory, benefits society as a whole. And even if those benefits are not primary goal or intent of these actions, this free economy is always takes the upper hand without any regulations, and it will give momentum. This is the main theory proposed by Adam Smith. And next, Alfred Marshall. This Alfred Marshall is a neoclassical economist. He has also released one book named Principles of Economics. This Principles of Economics book is released in 1890. he also contributed to the development of microeconomics. Okay. Next, in microeconomics, I already told, in microeconomics we study about particular individuals or individual units like a single farms, single producers, in a small manner. So the scope of microeconomics is very limited. In the scope of microeconomics, we have three theories, that is theory of product pricing, theory of factor pricing, and theory of economic welfare. So, in theory of product pricing, when it comes to product pricing, that product pricing is naturally depends on demand and supply analysis. How in the market that my product is, how much it has demand, and how much I am able to supply. Based on these two factors, we can analyze the product capacity and we can give some MRP. So this theory of product pricing, demand analysis and supply analysis, this comes under the scope of microeconomics. So product pricing, the theory of product pricing means whatever we come, demand analysis and supply analysis. This comes under the theory of product pricing. Next, theory of factor pricing. Theory of factor pricing means if we are establishing a company or any firm, we take land for the rent, we have to give wages for the laborers, we have to pay interest on loans, and also whatever the profit and losses we get. These all things include, by considering all the things, we decide the product of our price. But that product price based on the factors we are deciding. Since based on the factors like rent, wages, interest, profit, we are deciding on the factors. Though this is called the theory of factor pricing rather than the theory of product pricing. Because by considering the factors also, we are able to price whatever the product we are launching. So this is also one kind of theory. And next theory is theory of economic welfare. Later we discuss about theory of economic welfare means this is the resource allocation efficiency, and also it talks about the distribution of resources and it's efficient. The result is higher level of pressure for the people. Means whatever the resources we have in our society, if we distribute the resources, how much pleasure, how much it will give the productivity in a subjective nature. It talks about that. So we call this as a economic welfare theory rather than any specific theory, economic welfare theory. Okay. So efficiency equal to output by input, like that. Now we talk about the characteristics of microeconomics. So the microeconomics, as we know, it is regarding the small size firms, individual prices, individual households. We talk about this in a small scale manner. So characteristics, what are the microeconomics? First of all, first characteristic is study of individual units, like small individual economic units such as individual firms, individual prices, individual households. And second characteristic is price theory. It has a determination of prices for products and services as well as production variables. As a result, this microeconomics has the pricing theory and also partial equilibrium, like the balance between the two variables. For example, the equilibrium means balance between the two variables. Here, equilibrium position of a single economic unit, such as if you take a single consumer or a single firm or a single industry, It isolates a single unit from other forces and investigates its equilibrium on its own. So, this microeconomics has the capacity of partial equilibrium rather than the full equilibrium. Okay? Next, based on certain assumptions. Economics is mostly based on the assumptions. Okay? Always economics comes with some conditions. In some those conditions only, those laws and demand and supply, whatever the theories are there, they will be applicable. More than that, they are not applicable. Next, based on certain assumptions. Macroeconomics starts with the assumption that other things remain constant, such as perfect competition, laissez-faire policy, pure capitalism, full employment. In macroeconomics, assumptions, whatever the other things remain constant. Perfect competition is always constant, laissez-faire policies have to be there, pure capitalism have to be there, and full employment is have to be there. Whenever these assumptions are there, there is a condition that we can analyze macroeconomics in a simple manner. And also the slicing method, it is also one of the characteristics of microeconomics. Slicing method means it splits or divides the entire economy into small individual units, which are then studied separately. We uh, we take one unit, one company, and in that company also we slice the certain departments, certain in charge sections like that. So we analyze the economics in even smaller unit levels in those particular company. So we can also this kind of approach, the studying economics in this kind of approach, we call it as a slicing method that is used in microeconomics. It is also used to study individual demand as a percentage of aggregated demand, like that. And also, the microeconomics has the characteristics of application of the marginalism principle. Marginalism means, we know, in the end, whatever the addition will takes place, that addition, how much change can bring on the overall output. So, we can refer to as the marginalism, like the marginal output. The term marginal refers to the overall change brought about by an additional unit. So, marginal analysis is a technique for studying variable as it changes. This principle is used by producers and consumers to make economic decisions. Marginalism principle, for example, if I write 250 words for an essay, it is enough. But according to the UPSC, we need to write 300 words. But by increasing the 50 words in essay, in CAPF examination, if those 50 words are very excellent, ideological and imperative regarding the essay only, those 50 words will benefit you. As per the examiner, he will think it is excellent and he will give extra marks. If don't have any matter in your mind, still you write those 50 words in extra way because you have the time without any further thinking in a casual manner. It may give negative impact in the mind of examiner. He may decrease your marks. So those additional, we can apply this marginalism principle here also. So the overall change brought by the additional unit, whatever addition you are doing, overall change how much it got. This is called as marginal principle. And this microeconomics examines various market structures. For example, perfect competition, monopoly, monopolist competition, and oligopoly. These market structures are also examined. Remember, you have to read perfect competition, monopoly, monopolistic competition, and oligopoly separately in a good manner, because UPSC in CAPF examination previous year questions are asked from this points. Okay. And in the end, microeconomics has the limited scope. Like regarding the individual units only, we read about the economics in the individual units, so it has the limited scope. We don't go in depths like balance of payment in a whole, unemployment, poverty as a whole, economic growth. We don't discuss these big issues, big economic things. Okay, it has a limited scope. Next, importance of microeconomics. Now, microeconomics has the capacity to determine price. By using microeconomics, we can determine the price in a very particular manner. For example, product pricing theory and also the factor pricing theory. We read about 5 minutes ago. We read about the product pricing theory and also the factor pricing theory. Okay. So and also it has the economy of free market. Then what to produce, how much to produce, how to produce, everything we can think in a free manner and also operate in a free manner without any government interference. So it is very important. And also in international trade, microeconomics aids in understanding numerous facts in international commerce, such as currency exchange rates between two countries, tariffs on two commodities. So specific things. Microeconomics used in international economics also, international trade also. We use microeconomics to determine the specific categories like tariffs, everything, etc. Next, developing economic models. Sorry. In studying terminologies, concepts, economic analysis tools, etc. To develop economic models or theories also, microeconomics are very important. Next, to take the commercial decisions. As a businessman, microeconomics are very important for your company to take commercial decisions, like maximizing your own company's profit, output, commodities, price of the commodities, cost of manufacturing, everything. Whatever the decisions you take regarding your company, microeconomics are very useful. And also microeconomics are government friendly. For example, these microeconomics can be used in taxation policies, deciding policies, like public spending or pricing policies, and also using at the time of efficient resource allocation and also societal economic welfare times. In those times also, these microeconomics are very important. And also, we already read about the welfare economics foundations. Microeconomics are used in the best way in the welfare economics. Like welfare economic means nothing but a resource allocation for the maximization of the profit, or in the economic terms we say pleasure, maximization of the pleasure. And also this can analyze the impact of taxation on social welfare, these microeconomics. So okay guys.